This is Reframe, the podcast from the College of Education, Health, and Society on the campus of Miami University in Oxford, Ohio. Empowerment is for everyone. This idea is championed by those who take action, get involved, and try to make a difference. And at Miami, these ideals are embodied by a program called the Urban Cohort. And what makes this program so unique is how it's actually grounded in community life in very, very real ways. Asthma was a big problem in their urban Cincinnati neighborhood. It impacted their friends, their family members, and many of those they loved. So a group of local student mentors and their Miami University mentee decided to make an impact. They took steps to learn what caused asthma and how the roaches and mold responsible are often present in low-income housing. They cross-referenced citywide asthma rates with area zip codes to identify correlations between asthma, poverty, and disproportionately affected minorities. They even combed through lease agreements and wrote scripts, which were used to interview and urge leasing agencies to fix inferior housing conditions. Then they developed informational booklets to distribute at an outdoor health fair and encouraged local residents to even put their rent payments in escrow if housing conditions were not improved. And after connecting with Cincinnati Children's Hospital's asthma team, these Rothenberg fourth graders also met with an advisory committee where one student mentor was actually hired on as a consultant who... Wait, these were fourth graders? Yes. Let's back up. These Rothenberg fourth graders were part of the Urban Cohort, an award-winning, action-oriented, and highly collaborative partnership between Miami University's College of Education, Health, and Society, urban schools, and civically minded community organizations. Today, the program operates primarily in Cincinnati's Over-the-Rhine neighborhood, where issues such as poverty, inequality, race, and gentrification are all present, and where the participants gain a first-hand look at the lives and lived experiences that often diverge greatly from their own. The cohort was originally designed to prepare students to teach in urban areas, and teacher education majors are still highly involved, but the critical awareness that the urban cohort offers is now starting to attract attention from students across all majors. The Miami students who participate don't just learn about various social problems affecting marginalized areas, they literally become part of the community. According to Dr. Tammy Schwartz, the Urban Cohort Director, the genuinely immersive experience is fundamentally grounded in the day-to-day challenges that real residents face.
If you ask a lot of folks what is really important to teaching, and I say it's the capital R, it's relationships. And you can't do that when you're not in the space, when your body is not next to the person with whom you need to be building a relationship, when your body is not in the space of the neighborhood, walking the sidewalks that the children who go to school in that neighborhood use, or being in those places.
The program unfolds over a 3-year timeline and features 4 components: a preparatory course, experiential learning, reflection, and a culminating course. And throughout it, college students will also work directly with longtime residents and professional program collaborators, and many will eventually live and work in the neighborhoods too. During the first year, the preparatory course is grounded in systemic injustice. Here the students deconstruct their own personal perspectives and learn how many social systems are created to benefit some people but not others. They'll also pair up with a youth in a local urban elementary school who will serve as their mentor. Here's Dr. Schwartz again.
So we flipped that. Miami students not being a mentor to the, quote, young kid, the kid's being a mentor to the Miami student, the child is, so that they've got life experiences and bring incredible assets to the table. And over the course of that year, our Miami students, the mentees, work with their mentors in collaborative groups doing action research on issues that the kids have identified that impact their lives.
This process directly informs the projects and curriculum-based learning that the Miami Teacher Education college students will subsequently design. Some years, these projects might center around homelessness, for example. Other projects have focused on violence, and another reoccurring theme is economic inequality, which can be manifested in numerous ways, including even the way conditions of some low-income housing can lead to increased asthma rates.
And at the same time, our teacher candidates are now witnessing what curriculum can look like when it's centered around what's important to youth and their lives. So I'm not giving you a worksheet on the statistics of homelessness in Cincinnati. You investigating the statistics of homelessness on using resources that adults would use in order to investigate those issues. That now becomes your text. So showing our students that they can do curriculum in a different way.
So then, when the 4th grade Rothenburg Elementary students first identified asthma as a concern in their lives, it was Miami student Anna Hartman who then figured out how the project would unfold. Understanding the causes of asthma became science lessons. Comprehending the lease agreements became reading lessons. Analyzing and correlating city zip codes with asthma rates became math lessons, and so on. And this process is key. It's crucial to the learning and development of everyone involved. For the college students like Anna Hartman, it opens their eyes to the many underlying and often hidden systemic problems that can perpetuate cycles of injustice and inequality. For the elementary kids themselves, it proves that they too have a voice, that they too can make a real difference in their own communities.
Some people say we empower youth. I do not believe that. Youth already come to the table with a lot of power. So we don't empower people. We're creating spaces for that power to be enacted.
While the urban cohort may still currently work with primarily teacher education college students, it's quickly becoming far more interdisciplinary, which is actually more in line with the program's overall and original mission. In fact, one of Dr. Schwartz's longtime program collaborators was Dr. Tom Dutton, the founder of Miami's Over the Rhine-based Center of Community Engagement and a Miami professor of architecture.
And people would ask, how does an architect person get connected up with a teacher education person? You know, that was always like, huh? And Tom and I would have these conversations, and it was like, you know, he said to me one time, he goes, Tammy, I really care about helping to develop a really good architect. But more importantly, I care about helping to develop really great human beings who care about those whose voices are not often heard in our society. And I'm like, that's exactly how I feel about teachers.
So throughout their tenure in the program, Miami students go through what Schwartz calls deep heart work. And it's the type of work that can imbue a learning experience and potentially even entire future careers with more purpose and meaning, which is actually becoming more and more attractive to students across most majors today. According to a recent study from UCLA titled The American Freshman, most incoming new freshmen are primed to find greater meaning from the subjects they study, and they also want to give back in some way.
They're driven toward something that would, I mean, they might not use the term social justice, but something that would, you know, give meaning to this kind of more academic or professional exercise that they're engaging in. So I don't think Miami students are any different than university students nationwide in that regard.
That's Sarah Williams, Miami University Associate Director of the Office of Community Engagement and Service. And she says that Miami students also harbor the same desire to give back and do meaningful work. That is, they're not any different than the other students highlighted in the UCLA study. So the idea then is to help develop more students who are community-based practitioners to facilitate this transformation. And it's not just about those who want to become teachers. Regardless of major, it's about developing socially conscious individuals across all fields and professions.
So developing community accountants and community graphic designers who don't see their work in a silo, but see it as rippling out and impacting the ecosystem, the community in which they're situated.
Yeah, well said, well said.
Because of Tom Dutton's original influence, the majority of these interdisciplinary participants so far have had an architectural background. But throughout the cohort's nearly decade-long history, the program has also welcomed students from speech pathology, public health and business, marketing, public administration, social work, psychology, and journalism as well.
It's complex work to think about and reflect on their own personal histories and how the system has positioned them, you know, to think about the world in particular ways and to think about themselves in particular ways. And in ways that those things are harmful, how do they use that knowledge to fight back against that in whatever their discipline or their profession is going to be.
And Schwartz only expects this growing interdisciplinary interest to expand, especially as more students realize that the urban cohort opens the door to more meaningful and more productive conversations around race, around class, privilege, and power, and it directly addresses serious social issues by literally viewing the local community as the curriculum.
Our students see an issue from the perspective of youth and their families who are experiencing those things. And, you know, there's what Martin Luther King calls a radical empathy. There's a radical empathy that is developed as a result of that.
And to expand on this vision and mission even further, the program recently announced the addition of a new Fostering Just Communities certificate, which makes the original urban cohort model even more easily accessible to the entire Miami University student body. So now, at Miami, empowerment truly is for everyone. And if you would like more information on the urban cohort or the new Fostering Just Communities certificate, you can email fjcommunities@miamioh.edu, or you can visit online miamioh.edu/fjc.